Got it. Emily wasn't the type to let her guard down easily. She had spent years building walls around herself, keeping others at a distance, and Dominic knew better than to expect her to change overnight. He understood that, but it didn't mean he could walk away. Not after everything, not after Lena. He saw Emily approaching the car, her backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds in, and her face as closed off as ever. She slid into the passenger seat without a word, staring straight ahead, just like she always did. Dominic didn't try to force conversation. He had learned that she needed to set the pace. Some days she'd surprise him with a sarcastic remark or an unexpected question, like what kind of music Lena used to listen to, or why he always wore the same worn-out leather jacket. Other days, she withdrew completely, staying silent for the entire ride. Today, however, she pulled out one earbud and glanced at him. "Do you always wait this long after school, or are you just bad at timing?" Dominic smirked, grateful for the conversation. "Maybe I just like giving you time to say goodbye to all your adoring fans." Emily rolled her eyes but couldn't stop a faint smile from forming. "Yeah, right, because I'm so popular." "You're probably more popular than you think," he said casually as he pulled out of the parking lot. The drive home was quiet except for the soft hum of the radio. Dominic noticed Emily fidgeting with the strap of her backpack, her gaze fixed outside the window. He wondered what was on her mind but didn't ask. He had learned that the best way to reach her was to wait until she was ready to talk. Later that week, he decided to try something different. They were sitting at opposite ends of the couch, Emily flipping through TV channels absent-mindedly, when he spoke up. "Hey, I was thinking," he said. "How about we take a drive tomorrow? I want to show you something." Emily eyed him suspiciously. "What kind of something?" "You'll see," he replied with a teasing grin. The next afternoon, they drove down winding roads, past open fields and quiet clusters of trees, until they reached a small, familiar park. It was nothing fancy, just a bench beneath an old oak tree, but it had meant something to Lena. "This was one of her favorite spots," Dominic said as they walked toward the bench. "She used to come here to clear her head. Sometimes I'd come with her, but most of the time she just wanted to be alone." Emily sat down, crossing her arms over her chest. After a moment, she murmured, "It's quiet." "Yeah," Dominic agreed, taking a seat beside her. She liked that about it, said it helped her think. They sat in silence for a while, not the kind that felt awkward, but the kind that carried weight. Dominic could tell Emily was processing something, though he didn't know exactly what. Over the next few weeks, he started sharing more memories of Lena with Emily. He told her stories from their childhood, the time Lena convinced him to climb onto the roof to retrieve a kite, or how she used to make up silly songs to cheer him up. One evening, he pulled out an old photo album, flipping through the pages as Emily sat beside him. "She looks so happy," Emily murmured, staring at a picture of Lena standing in a sunlit field, arms outstretched. "She was," Dominic said softly. "Most of the time, anyway." Emily was quiet for a long moment before asking, "Do you think she'd be mad that you're trying so hard with me?" Dominic's chest tightened at the question, but he kept his voice steady. "No, I think she'd be proud. She always wanted you to have someone you could count on." Emily didn't say anything, but she didn't pull away either. It was a small step, but it was something. Even so, Dominic knew she was still testing him. She'd cancel plans without warning or ignore him for days, only to reappear as if nothing had happened. She wanted to see if he'd get tired of her and walk away, just like so many others had. But Dominic refused to leave. He showed up every time, whether she wanted him to or not. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Dominic made another suggestion, his voice careful. "There's one more place I want to take you." Emily looked at him warily. "Where?" "Lena's grave," he said simply. Her eyes widened slightly, and for a moment he thought she might refuse, but then she nodded, her expression unreadable. The next day they drove to the cemetery. The air was crisp, the sky pale blue. As they approached the grave, Dominic's steps slowed. He hadn't been here in months, hadn't been able to face it alone. Emily stood beside him, wrapping her arms around herself as if trying to protect herself from the weight of the moment. Dominic didn't say anything. He knelt, brushing a few stray leaves off the headstone, then sat back on his heels. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken words and shared grief. Then, finally, Emily took a small step forward. "Hi, sis," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Dominic's throat tightened, but he stayed silent, letting her have the moment. He watched as her shoulders trembled slightly, tears sliding down her cheeks. For the first time, Dominic allowed himself to hope. Maybe, just maybe, Emily was starting to heal. And maybe, just maybe, he was helping her find her way back to herself.